Alright, so Paisley came and got me. And she wanted in the workroom. And I gotta make you guys a video. So, oh yeah, this is all moved out of the way for now. That is one of the last very temporary Ethernet cables. You can actually see some of our permanent stuff running now. Yeah, these are not, none of it's like pinned down yet, if that makes sense. Like I have a stapler that does, rather than having to hammer those in like that, it's just chunk. But we've got all that run. Not all of it, actually. So eventually I'm gonna have like a fake corner here that hides all this, because speaker wire has to go up there yet. There's Paisley. You're the one that wanted to come in here. All right. Eventually, we had the fridge. Figured out a good height for it. It's a permanent solution because we got to use 2x4s. That goes there though, so you can just come in here, doors this way, pull it, get your stuff out, and go. That way, it's not over here when you're watching TV making noise. I'm gonna be putting up that green board up here. That's like the noise blocking drywall on the ceiling. I'm debating whether or not I might want to cover up this with it as well, just to add another layer, while we're doing that. Because the water heater's over here, the water softener. At some point, you probably got like a better water softening. Yeah, look at that. 20 years. Jeez. Been here a hot minute. Keep thinking our house is new. Relative term. I have friends with houses from the 1910s. But eventually what my plan is to do is over those pipes there, probably have some like 2x4s. Paint them, treat them so they don't get wrecked. But I want to put the cans there and mount the can crusher here. Or maybe put a board across and mount it there. So we have a nice place and you can just crush. Especially with the fridge right there. With the fridge there too, I might do... we'll have to see shelving wise over here. And then the toolboxes are going to go one here, because the fridge is going to open this way, so it can literally be, like here, and then one there. All right, so you can still get to the cans. I got to get that one up on there. However, for those that don't know, I didn't know this, surprisingly, these holes are for screwing the toolboxes together, and they do not provide you the hardware. And once you start getting up, here we're kind of good. I had one of these fall on me though see, this thing's really full of pliers, and I pulled out the next pliers one all the way, and let's just say that back started lifting up, and I was like, ugh. It's only gonna get worse when I have one more tier on there. Yeah. And I do want, this one got dented somehow, so I want to keep it the top one, because that way, it always gets dented, and I might actually cut a board or something, to keep on top there. I used to have like 2x4s. But, so that guy's actually going to go under this one. I started doing that, and I had some of these drawers open. Like, this is going to have a little bit less pliers in there than it does right now, because I'm going to be putting in, like the pliers holders like that, or for thinner pliers like that red one. Except, and I've yet to do this because these are actually going up to the pack out. I need to cut the other red one I have and, fill out the rest of this. Skinny pliers, right? And then the newer Nip Extend grip require, at least the larger sized plier, medium and larger size pliers require this wider spacing, right? This also let me get some of the tin snips I don't have the Cobras, so older kind of channel lock style Irwins, my shop shears, stuff like that can get over there, you know. Vise grips. Really, these things have seen some shit. They've actually stopped. Been a little... Not that I get rid of old ones, those just go in the garage. But, and I never really personally liked the ones that had this sort of like auto kick on them. But that's... Oh, they just thought they were being helpful. They weren't. Oh yeah, here's the new twin grip, new Christmas twin grip. Check that guy out. If you guys don't have a twin grip, pick this one up right here. Specifically the Christmas black one I got the last couple years here. I do have a pair of Krogas, I just don't have the big ones. I think that's last year's. Then we got the pliers wrench. And then the year before that is actually, oh yeah, baby crescent wrench. That's something I need to buy as well, as a proper crescent wrench. Here's the other. Oh, this one came in a I was gonna say a lantern, an ornament. But yeah, let me talk crescent wrenches. The only one I have is this crazy one. What do you mean crazy one? Oh, that looks normal. You ever seen a crescent wrench with a slider? Yeah, it's won a design award. All I can tell you is it sucks. Because it constantly wants to loosen. You see that this isn't moving, but this is. It's my only full-size crescent wrench, though. Patent pending, 8 inches. Like, this was supposed to be the next hot shit, and I can tell you, I want the little... So, I know there's the one company that makes it for Snap-on. Those look really, really nice. Probably pick up some of those. And then for, like, thinner, smaller, lighter weight ones, Tsunoda and some other Japanese brands make some really nice, interesting ones that I'm going to go with. But that's sort of, you know, find the exact models and eventually pick them up. What we actually came in here for, if I can get my knife. You, Mr. Knife? Let's use this guy. Here's one of the cheesy knockoff EABs, Gerber EABs. What I did is I slipped 2 neodymium button cell magnets under the clip there, so any of this metal stuff. There you go. Also, there's a 2-drawer one of these from the newer Craftsman. Blaine's Farm and Freight has it listed on their site. It still hasn't been available. If I got a 2-drawer, that would put it here. That would fill out this stack and make it as tall as that one, because this toolbox topper is just a little bit taller than, you know, these in-between ones. And yes, that's actually why I put this newer in-between one here, is because it would look less weird than like that being in the middle of that. Or if I can actually get the 2-drawer, which I think goes to about here, maybe, it would have 2 of these color next to each other. That is one cool thing, though. Craftsman, still to this day, if you have, like, these toolboxes are older than this house, I want to say. Like, at least my initial set, which was this bottom and that top. And I bought this, I think earlier this year, or into last year. Still available, too. And it's the same thing. Is it the newest, latest, greatest, etc.? No, but if you already have Craftsman, that is kind of cool. You know, whereas now if you were building out new, I'd probably say just go to freaking Harbor Freight. I know it's not U.S. made, but you get a lot for your money. And if you need more than that, you probably got to go with like a Mako or a, yeah, like any of those real big brands. Oh, holy shit, I didn't realize I did this. I put a Fisker's blade, a really nice Fisker's blade in this. That's really good. This cheese-tastic knife here. Well, I didn't realize that this one was that broken. Here. Just like to illustrate, that's supposed to open flat. Something wasn't made right on. All the other ones, like I regularly use the orange ones and they open completely flat. Weird. Either way, you can get like 6 of these, or at least prior to the tariffs, you could get 6 of these. Paisley, do not go in the sink. You're going to not be able to get out. Oh my gosh. Kitten. She's done this before. Kitten. Paisley Mary. What are you doing? Huh? So what I was going to show you, and these we got to bring upstairs, is picked up, and some of you probably know what these are. These are brackets for the wall, for the drywall, for low voltage. I don't know if orange means low voltage. All the stuff that I saw were this color though. And what ends up happening is you put this in, you fold the arms in, right? Okay, man. Like so, right? And you cut the hole like that, except you don't need a backer on the box for low voltage in most places. I mean, if you're in the Chicago area, you need conduit for your power. So you probably need conduit for this shit too. Yeah, you just cut the hole, shove that through, twist this, the arms come out like that, and they hold it tight against the drywall. There's even cheaper, I at least went this route, but there's even cheaper ones of these that are literally a flat piece of metal with a little like flange you poke out. I am not going that cheap, but I don't need a box in the wall, and where it is upstairs, I can put this in without cutting out drywall. Well, I mean, I have to cut out the hole for this, but I don't have to make a hole in the drywall to get the box in. And drilled and etc. So for low voltage, in most places, low voltage is fine. In that, I needed 2 for up in the office. I bought 3 because I'm going to take one of these and put it in. I have my pack out under there that has all of my networking ends, my keystones, my switch, my plate covers, my all that is in there. And then in the green guy is all the other, you can see the tools, and then all the sort of like accessories you need to make, like you might need to put that stuff in, right? So I'm going to take one of these guys, because they're like literally $2, and put it in there, because I have enough switch plates that having one of these would, like on hand, would make it so that I could just do a project rather than having to, at a minimum, these are just in stock at Home Depot. And you're like, of course they are. I know. Oh, look at cool. You know, Menards, they're not. I would have had to order them in. And you're like, what are you talking about? Menards? What's that? Midwest places. Apparently, we get a Snickers. I'll have to give it to my mom. She's the one that picked up the Home Depot order. I don't care about that. And then the last item that is in here, and I didn't realize it came in a little case. It was on sale last weekend, though, and I ordered for pickup, is this Diablo general purpose oscillating blade set. It's like one of each kind of blade. Reason being, you can see there, we only have 2 blades for our oscillating. We have similar tools for it, but we only have 2 blades. There's the hole dozer, 1.5 inch. It's like those holes. I didn't put those in. Now, on these beams, there are some pre-drilled holes, but sometimes they either aren't fully pre-drilled, or they don't line up with where you want, or they line up with the outlet, and I can't have my network like running. I mean, I guess I could, but I'd rather not have my networking running right into the outlet. So I had to buy this guy. The nice thing about the Milwaukee one is, now that I own this like base, up until a certain size, this bottom here, you only have to buy the white bit every time, which is much cheaper than buying this whole thing. Yeah. Oh, Also, a lot of people fail at drilling with these because they put them flat right away. Like you just, oh, I need to drill hole, I need to put it. No, you angle it a little bit because you have to catch on one side, then that'll draw it in. Yeah, because what they'll do is they'll try to full on like that. Oh, it sucks. It's not drilling in. Yeah, if you just tilt it just a little bit like that, then it's not having to cut the whole surface at once. It will do just fine. I blasted none over here because remember, we're coming from there. But basically all these in the storage room over there had to do 2 times because if I'm going to, you might have seen up here, if I'm going to spend time putting these hooks up to grab this. Now they have products for this. This is just hooks I already had from something. They're right over here. You go 50 pack, 1 inch. We went through a lot of those. I'll probably have to buy another one. I was actually gonna use these to hold up lights in the garage, and replace these screws with these nails here with screws, because they're going to be up in the ceiling this way. And I was worried that if I didn't hit a stud, I couldn't put anchors in. Whereas with a screw, I could put anchors in. Screw into the anchor, we'd be all good to go. Up here, though, because they're sideways and we're going straight into wood, we're all good. However, that is engineered wood, I guess. So me trying to just nail in, it bends the nail. So I had to drill a pilot hole. Just a little guy. That's why that guy's here. Yeah, and yes, I'm using purposefully, just to prove a bunch of you wrong, I'm using the subcompact Milwaukee. This subcompact Milwaukee drilled the holes for those nails. It also, because it's smaller, was easier to get up in between here with this bit on and just blast through these. So, for those of you saying that there are some of you out there that said the subcompact drill and subcompact, heck, you can see use wearing this thing right there. I already did something to it. And here's the snap-on. I got a countersink bit in there for something else I'm working on. That's the 800 series. I have not rebuilt my 700 series snap-on. It's still up there. I do have a new shell for it, though. Yeah, the subcompacts. Like, if you guys just need one tool, like you're starting out, in my opinion, pick up Milwaukee. They've never changed their batteries, especially for the 12 volt. They've never changed it. At one point, I think they had like a 24 volt. That died almost immediately, though. But especially if you guys are just starting out, you're like a home gamer, you just need something for around the house. 150 gets you both of the subcompacts, like one on sale at least. Might even go even cheaper once it gets to Black Friday. Gets you both subcompact Milwaukee drill and impact. And the subcompact impact is little baby guy. Here. Little baby guy. Super nice to use. If this had a toggle trigger, this could replace my snap-on. Here, because like here's the screwdriver. See what Milwaukee needs to do though is now that they have little baby impact, they have not updated. They're only on their second revision of the screwdriver, and I think their current one, it's really not that much smaller than the OG screwdriver, which isn't in here. I don't know where mine went. And now that they have that guy, they can make a screwdriver as small as that, but usually the impact needs a bigger motor than the screwdriver would. They could make a screwdriver that's like really stupid small and lightweight. They need to do that. Yes. So all we have for our oscillating saw is I bought 2 multi-material carbide blades. This one worked great. You can see we've used it quite a lot. All the teeth are good on here. We were using this Dremel carbide here. There was not a lot of selection back when I bought this. I want to say in the carbide ones. I don't know when that thing came out, but I waited for... This is not the fuel one. I do wish I had the fuel because this is not toolless at all. I have to use... That's why that Allen key's there. I got to use the Allen key. Had the fuel been out, had I known it was coming anytime soon, it's one of those things where... this is not a tool I use enough, and you can see we use it. This is all worn off. But it's not a tool I use enough because it's a fairly specialized tool. Like, it work for certain projects, especially around like baseboards, trim, and molding. Super, super duper nice. That's it. We need to fix a door jamb. But this blade hit some hardened screws or nails, and it's not showing up here. But basically, the teeth in metal are just gone. I don't know if you guys can see that there. So it was time to... There you go. You can see a good picture of that, which makes it really... we must have caught something and just like, you know, to get through it. Had to. You gotta be a little bit careful with this. You can even see where it's scraped once it got through underneath there. Must have been it must have been one of like the GRK decking screws or something, because those can be real tough. But we only had those two, and they're both carbide. The carbide can work fine on wood, but more like the teeth is the thing that can work fine. But yeah, this was on sale for $30. Some of these blades can be 20 on their just by themselves. But this setup was 30. And it has bimetal, metal, nail embedded wood, and one thing that's an improvement, or could be an improvement, is see what it says curved contact edge. That's kind of why this is a circle rather than being a straight flush cut like that guy. By the way, this might even be a Dremel as well. Oh, it's a Makita. That's the start of Makita. Like, it was just really weird back when those were relatively new tools. Like, if you wanted a flush cut, Dremel was the only one that had a carbide. If you wanted a circular one, half circle like this, Makita was the only one that had a. This might not even be a carbide. It might just be a titanium nitride. But, you know, like, a better quality, like, one company. Nowadays, I mean, you can see from this that, and these are way thinner than... You know, like that was ever. I heard good things about the Diablo, and I mean, I've always heard good things about them. So we kind of did a similar thing with our hacksaw. Like hacksaw, yeah, the hacksaw is the small version of the sawzall. Makes sense in the name. This is like a pruning one. I use that a whole bunch in the yard. We got a carbide teeth for... It's like really thick, 12 per inch, 6 to 9. That's a carbide for nail embedded wood and PVC. That's sort of a thing. And then this guy is what we used when remodeling the bathroom. This is a 10 per inch. This is a metal, like a full-on metal one. So I had to cut the mounts out of the ceiling for the exhaust fan, and this is what I used. Psh, psh. Worked great. And then this one also, I looked up what the... Yeah, this is nail embedded wood PVC pipe. There's like a specific PVC pipe one. I think it was a 10 per inch. I might be wrong. But this was close enough that because we had to cut out like the drain in the floor, right? And this was close enough. So we didn't have to run another one. After this, though, we kind of just went, and I think there might be one or two more in there. but we just bought like one of each. All carbide, all quality. You know, like I looked up, and yeah, Diablo saw blades are fairly well reviewed as well. Because a lot of these tools are not like we use them and we use them for a project, but I am not a contractor, at least with these tools. And I'm no longer doing on-site work and stuff like that, but that work would have dealt with, right? But I'm not an on-site contractor blasting through these. They're like Chinese knockoffs of these Dremels that on Project Farm reviewed very well, and you can get like many more than you can of these, like even the Diablos versus the other brands, right? If you're doing that and you know a specific type that you're going to blow through, and you find out, okay, it's actually quite a bit cheaper to get an off-brand blade and blow through them faster than it is to buy, you know, like from a name brand. It might be because like realistically, this is just a saw blade. You know, we've come quite away from this. These are still made because Dremel still makes that one. Like I remember when I bought this, at least in physical stores, if you wanted a flush cut carbide, the Dremel carbide was it. But this is the one we'll probably be using for the. We effectively have this board here. Like this guy. Well, it might actually be this side effectively. Out in the garage is rotted out. And we need to cut a piece out and put a new piece in. We already have the replacement board. They're showing using like a circular saw. I'm like, that seems excessive. I think we could potentially get away with the hacksaw, but something like this is much more precise and easier to use. So this is bimetal contact edge, nail embedded wood. And we do have a carbide, right? There you go. Because our old one was shot. I made sure that we had a carbide to go with that, or to replace that. I mean, we might still keep it because as long as you're not going in the middle. But like, I don't know if you can see from this angle, like it's missing quite a few teeth there. That's what happens when you have a blade. And I think we had to do the project, and we might have even, the last one we did, we might have even known that it was going, and we gotta get it done still. Kind of like up here, I have my tool graveyard, right? In here is my uni bit from Irwin. I use this thing for like decade probably, or better part of it. And there are certain, you can see there's just certain steps on this thing that like it got, you can see where it's like it changed color from how hot it was getting because it was so dull. I should have just ponied up and done the research. But when I bought this Irwin Unibit, like this was the stepped bit that was available. Probably had it more than 10 years, but I want to say like the past 3 or more, this was like I'd be like, oh, I really need to buy another one, but I'll buy it next project. But the next project would come and I wouldn't have bought them. And yeah, there's like up here, there's like, you know, like shitty Allen keys. If you need to cut this off to make like a little thing that goes in or something, you can. I have stripped out precision screwdrivers. If you want to grind these down and make them into something, you know, or rip the handles off, or that doesn't look that bad from this angle. From that angle, it's jacked the fuck up. I don't know if you can, it's gonna focus on that. Really doesn't want to, does it? Yeah, here you can see, I don't know if you can see the color there, it's jacked the fuck up. So, on this one you're like, oh, that looks fine. Oh, tell me that now. I don't know why you can see that, but basically the entire tip got twisted. Fellow's great though. This guy, also. This is a Phillips number 2. I prefer the wood if I can get it, and you can see that's supposed to be a flat edge. That's not flat anymore. I don't misuse them. I just certain common sizes. There you go. You can see this is where the that guy got replaced. And this guy, you can already see, is already pretty. It's got some wear on it from being, because Phillips 1 on the Precision is going to be one of the most used sizes. I got a long guy too, because sometimes you need that guy in here though too. Like here. Nope, not that guy. Basically, like when these go bad, these are my iFixit bits. I flip them over. I might have gotten all these replaced now. But yeah, when doing screws as PS3, we killed 3 iFixit bits. That's why I go with them. They have a lifetime warranty on the bits as well, and they'll just send you new one. For the common ones, either buy 2 kits, right, and just like use that second kit till you get your first kit's things back, or buy extra bits. Like I had a bunch because I thought I was going to use them, and it just really hasn't happened. But I bought a bunch because this kit, they didn't have the Phillips 2-bit back when this kit came out, the one that I have up here. So there is no spot for it, but because it is fairly often used, I just put it, right below the. These are also not the original screwdrivers. I upgraded them. I think one of my coworkers has the old screwdriver, like one of the old screwdrivers. This is not the original iFixit screwdriver, but it's before they went the blue and black. They were sort of the silver color. Oh yeah, for some reason I have a square 3, an extra one. So this is kind of my tools that are still fine. Like that was a Bond House Allen key specifically for taking off like a security lock on my previous green Mini for the rims, I think, or it might have been for my Chevy Aveo. On like something taking the rims off. It's perfectly fine Allen key. It's just you're like, why is it still in the wrapper? Well, it's not. You can pull it out of there, and I had to use it. And when I did it, and I put it back on there, so I knew what size it was. Yeah, we've got one of the metal iFixit ones. But who needs one of these, let me know. You got this DeWalt. The fact that they didn't make this fit a standard extension is insane. You getting all those, even had the butt. It spins like shit though. This got replaced with the, let's not ratchet too. Like the whole thing is, there's a much cheaper DeWalt that I gave my mom for her work that, oh, did I break that too? Yeah, look at that. If you guys are wondering what it looks like when you break the magnet, you can see in there. That thing was exploded. So that is why I use impact bits that get very, very close to the magnet and rest on that outer brass shell, right? But don't actually rest on the magnet part so they don't explode the magnet. We got a bunch of different knives. Like we got the crescent here. These are more for like, hey, if I have a buddy that needs one, I'll give it to him. But this thing's fucking dangerous. And it's really hard to open. It looked like another EAB knockoff, but look at that. Because they angled this the wrong way, the instant you open it up at all, you're going to get jabbed by a razor sharp blade. The clip's going the wrong direction. It's also off center. The lockup is actually quite nice. Like, I don't know if you heard that, but that was, that way is quite nice. This mechanism, decent. This grip here, pretty good. Yeah. There's certain places, though, if you watch my video on it, that they had somebody that have used these before, or even carried a pocket knife before, they could have vastly improved it. They would actually could have had a bigger clip going the other direction, just using those screws that are already there, right? And maybe tapped one right there. Yeah, got a bunch of, got like a brand new set of Allen keys. They're just annoying being in this. Because also they're only, oh, these are Master Force ones. Interesting. I did have an Allen key set too, must have given those away. Yeah, these are only standard. SA, not all that. I don't even know why I have these. Just found them as I was going through the toolbox. So I go up here, and then if somebody's like, oh, I don't have a set of Allen keys, and I need that to do the thing, I'm like, here, have it. Clean wood right there. So when we were doing the trim boards, not the ones in the wall, but the cutting them, that would have been the one to do. That one is dang thin. Look at that. Way more teeth. That thing would zip right through there. So I think this will give us a good option. If you guys have any blades for your what are we going to call these? These are such a generic term. Once the tool, or like once the patent expired, they just call it a multi-tool or oscillating cutter. Yeah, oscillating blade set. This was like a very patented tool. I think it was like a German company, Fine or something like that, that had the patent on it for so freaking long. And they were always corded, you know. So I also have the generic Dremel now over. Where are you, little buddy? Yeah. Here, I actually have Dremel ends on it because the Mako ones are kind of shit. But and I use all my Dremel accessories that I've had for however long. That's why I thought it was crazy when freaking X-Acto changed their blade, because it's like, people have your stuff for as old as I am, if not older. Like, why are you? Oh, you're selling up to China, and when China doesn't make more money, you change the notch that holds the blades in, because fuck you, I guess. But yeah, once Dremel came off, Milwaukee, like, it's just a motor that's spinning really fast with a certain chuck, you know. So when my my Dremel died, well, really in that case it was the batteries that took a shit, and they were proprietary Dremel ones. I'm like, hey, if Milwaukee makes ones now, I don't have to worry about the batteries then, because I got batteries at the wazoo, and all my accessories work. That's what sold me. I literally can screw this off. Oh, and screw right on any of my stuff, and take this chuck out. Like, that's a quick change chuck, because I always thought using the chuck key was the most annoying thing. Yeah, the one thing we don't have wireless yet is, or wireless, cordless, is the jigsaw. We got a nice Makita corded one. There's my normal set of fellow. Nearly a complete set. I don't have pause drive, which I plan on getting, or you can't get JCIS. So I have JCIS here. These are Vessel's the one that invented JCIS, Japanese company. So this is their cheapest set that has all the sizes. It has, or sorry, not JCS, the big size is GAIS. JCIS is the like tiny guys, like for laptop repair, stuff like that. But this is a JIS 1. It's actually a 0, right, through 1, 2, 3. So I need to figure out how I want to do these. I gotta get that other toolbox in here, because this is getting real cramped. Like, also want to get pause drive. I'm probably gonna get them in wood. Fellow does not do, and you can see here for grip, I have sanded off all the sides except the ones that have the labels, so I can warranty them. This is far grippier than this like veneered. Now, if you're using a lot of oil, obviously that's gonna then get in the wood. But when I do oil stuff like on the car, I don't use the wood screwdrivers. I use the rubber guys. All the new ones are the ergo grip, not this older. This is the Fellow Frico. And you can see that Fellow also has started transitioning from the red color to the yellow. I think a lot of it because is it Wiha? I think is red, so that might be why Fellow's going away from it. But they're not going to this yellow. Also probably because they went away from the Fellow Frico, and all of those were red. I mean, here you can see this guy's. Oh, what's that? Is that a Phillips 2? That's a Phillips 2 that probably needs to get replaced soon. What that is. Is that a chunk? Yeah, okay, that's got to get warranted. There's a chunk. You can see that. There's a chunk out of that Phillips 2. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you can see by the handle I've used it quite a bit. This one too. What's that? T25. Yeah, that's gonna get used quite a lot. It's a little bit harder to tell when the torques are worn out. But yeah, so I'm debating when I get my pause drive if I go, because the pricing, I used to be able to just buy these at Fleet Farm. Can't do that anymore ever since they got bought out and they merged and yada yada yada. They just have normal like Milwaukee, like all your standard shit, which is kind of annoying. So I can't, and that's actually why when I warranty these, I have to warranty them through, I think it's Bond House is the one that carries Fellow. There's the like US vendor for it. I have to go through them because they normally want you to go through the place you bought it from, and I'm like, they don't carry your brand anymore. And they're like, oh, well, we'll just ship it to you then. You know, that's like, here I've had the Phillips 2, the Frico Phillips 2. That's probably my third one or something. I'm on my second one of these guys, the Phillips 2. I think I'm on my second Phillips 1. This is a brand new flathead. You can see there because I sanded it off. A lot of the original ones don't have. I didn't sand them off. But then when they came in, I'm like, now I'm going to do that. I think it was AVE that recommended these, and I bought them immediately. The one downside is that there's like different sheen on the, like you can get like chrome finish like this, or like this satin. I have gotten some of mine replaced with the chrome, and I much prefer the satin finish on these. I forget which one that was, or it might have even worn out and got replaced again. I might have said, like, hey, can I get the satin one? Last time you didn't have it. Because sometimes they'll be like, hey, we don't have, you know, like now with the Fellow Fricos, they're doing that, where it's like, we don't have this anymore, so you mind if we give you one of those? Or, I don't know, I've had some other ones where they have to like change the handle bits. Yeah, otherwise we gotta wait. Yeah, this guy's gotten replaced before. I used to use this all the time for building PCs. And you can see this guy's like brand new now. That's because, well, it's not brand new. There's somewhere up there. But comparatively to that other Phillips 2, it's brand new. I used to use this, and I even still recommend it. This is a, how long does that say on here? It should. Of course it doesn't. This is like an 8-inch, I think. Phillips 2. This is long enough to get in the case, right? So before I was using, or even when you need a screwdriver sometimes to do stuff, you prefer having a screwdriver, I would use this guy. I use the living shit out of it. Still, if you thought that guy was long, I still have this OG. Squares calls this guy the Sword. An OG, made in USA. Phillips 2. You guys want to know how long I've been building PCs? Long enough that I could still walk into Sears and buy this bad boy. You can see a little bit of wear on the tip, but this thing only gets pulled out when it's needed. But yeah, you're going to see a lot more vessel stuff added because I run into JCS more and more. A lot of laptops use JIS. These are JIS. There's like a small precision set, kind of like these guys here, right, in JCIS. And it doesn't just come in the Phillips head. It'll do the, it comes with a couple flats in their design, and then the sort of Phillips-esque JCIS, because it's based on Phillips, just with much more squared off blades. If you go and watch my JIS video, you'll see a lot more of that stuff once it goes on sale or once I need it, because I have all the like the models picked out. It's more of a, do I need that for a project or has it gone on sale? So we got our blades here. That should be enough to get us through our current projects. If you guys have any other ones, like this guy's still good, you know. But if there's any other types you think we should have, let me know. I just like this sampler because I think it was $30 on sale. It kind of gives us a little bit of nail embedded wood, clean wood, steel demon, carbide, amped demo demon. Like maybe we like this one, but the next time we get it in the carbide or something. One of each is good enough for us to figure out like what we're using it for. Let's go upstairs though, because I need to put these up where they're getting used. All right, so I got a stash in my office behind the door here. Can't use the tables while we are finishing them. And we can kind of go over. So I don't need 3 of these, I need 2 of them. But effectively, I gotta check the wall to make sure. Because if that's being used for duct, right, so basically use the inner cavity of the wall for the ducting, we can't use that. There is one on the other side of the wall. We're gonna have to measure which one it is. More than likely it's gonna be this stud here that I use. I'm gonna put 2 in there, boom, boom, with 2 wires each. 2 wires are gonna go to that desk, and you're like, well, why don't you just use that wall? And that's an outside wall of the house. Your outside wall goes over the foundation. Much more of a pain in the ass. Much rather would use, also there's insulation in those walls. Inside wall, no insulation, right? Much easier to put these in. But just imagine, within one stud, boom, boom. And then I'm gonna drill 2 holes, boom, boom, for their cables. And I should be able to figure out about where the wire for this comes out, because right there is going to be a coax jack and a blue Cat 6. And I just re-terminated all of those. Originally these are phone jacks. I didn't realize they were using Cat 6. And you can see there, it might be Cat 5e. I shouldn't say Cat 6. It might be Cat 5e. Either way, it'll carry at least gigabit, right? So I re-terminated all those with keystones, and then used keystone coax. Not that we really use coax anymore. But these guys are going to go bada bing, bada boom, drill down. Like I said, I should know about where the cables will come into the basement if I can find, especially the blue wire. That's going to be the easiest to do. Now, what we need to do that sort of thing is this big tall boy here. And this little handle. So what this is this is a flexible drill bit, and then this is basically the tool that bends it. Because in order to, we're gonna cut a hole in the wall like that for that box and drill down. In order to drill down, we need to bend the drill bit in the hole, right? So that's why you need this specific, and then also these have these sort of like screw tip bits. I don't know if it's not an auger tip, but you if you poke that in the wood and it starts, it'll pull itself through, right? I originally was going to buy the Milwaukee one, but then I looked and like there are shit tons of horrible reviews on Home Depot's own website where people are saying it just snaps off right here. This is not a Milwaukee. This is why we're going to talk about Menards actually. And so I'm like, I do not want to get the Milwaukee, right? Because the other issue is like Milwaukee will warranty it, Home Depot will warranty it, but it's like a known thing where the head just like snaps off. It's like because they like weld this bendy rod onto this head, and maybe it doesn't go in far enough or something. I don't know. It just snaps off right there. And then I searched, like Reddit was having that happen too. Like I'm like, okay, is this just like a string of it? And like sometimes there are old reviews like, oh, it's 2018 that happened. Well, Milwaukee probably fixed the product by then. Also, I'm not using this professionally. You know, like, do I care? If it does break, I'll warranty it. But like, there were enough people with the Milwaukee flexible drill bits that I'm like, I am not risking that shit. All right, and let's check places like Reddit and other websites. Like, is this a thing? Yeah, it is. Apparently, the Milwaukee flexible drill bits are shit. A lot of people are recommending Irwin. That we didn't have readily accessible around here. Then somebody recommended actually. They're like, oh, if you live in the Midwest, go to Menards specifically. They carry New England carbide, made in the USA. Now, most of the stuff, there's only one in stock at Menards. You can see where the drill bit's there. It's just so unruly, right? And they were highly praising these. And I'm like, you know, made in the USA, you know, read some stuff up. Seems like a perfectly good thing. The Milwaukee's have horrible reviews. Let's get that, right? And you need, you know, I guess you don't need the handle. The handle makes it a hell of a lot easier to keep that bent, right? Because remember, you're drilling on the other end. And you have to make sure that this gets poked in to the, what are those called? Not baseboard, not footer. There's something about the bottom plate of the wall. Basically, you gotta stick it in there and drill through. So that's where the handle comes in very handy. It's usually that size. I don't remember which size that is. It's like 9/16 maybe. Maybe 9/16 is the standard that comes with the handle. Once you have the handle, obviously it works with any of their drill bits. So I just go with the standard one first. It'll probably be good enough. Remember, I'm only planning on running, also due to the size of this, I'm only running one wire through each hole, because I'm just going to put two of those in, and then I can easily, in the width of that, fit two holes. You know, in the width of this much, I can fit two of those. Boop, boop. You know, like, boop, boop. I can do that. No problem. Is that the most efficient? No, because we're gonna have to run each wire individually anyway, because I'm not, like, if I was doing this in like commercial enterprise and you're pulling 4 wires, you would have 4 spools, boom, 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 and you'd pull them all at once, all through one conduit or one hole and one receptacle. We're doing this a bit different here. In the same Reddit thread where people are, you know, like, this is where I've been trying to search for, like, is the Milwaukee flexible drill bit like really as bad as these reviews are saying, right? That's when somebody else in there is like, bros, you got to get yourself bumper balls. And I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody even asked in the Reddit, like, what's a bumper ball? And they're like, oh, look at Racketeers. And they have a patent on these. I think there's Chinese knockoffs of it now. But U.S. company, it does say made in China, assembled in the U.S., but U.S. company, this has been a thing for them for a long time. If you see this, basically there's a ball on here. And you put this on your drill. There, you can see that right there. You put that over. Grab. Put this guy in here, like so. See? Like so. All right. And then that goes all the way down to near or at the tip. And it's a decent invention because it keeps, like when you're in the wall, right? So there's a 2x4 width in there. They have both 1.5 and 2-inch balls that go on here, and they keep the. So what happens when you bend it, right? And sometimes you want to do that, but it'll actually shoot out the side. Or when you come through here, like if you want to drill up from this bottom down into there, or from this top down into there. Now, if we were going on that edge over there, on top of the foundation, you actually would want that to happen in reverse because you need to get it away from the foundation so you can actually get to the wire. But in this case, because we're going straight down, this helps keep it straight by basically keeping it centered in the drywall, like that. Now, obviously, if your thing is stuffed with like our outer walls, which are at least hopefully insulated, that won't be able to do that nicely. But that's why you use, and I think Wendell from Level 1 Techs actually had a video on this. That's why you generally try to do the low voltage networking on the internal. Hey, there's my Gen 1 fuel drill. After we got this new truck. You generally try to do low voltage networking on the inner walls, right? So you don't have to deal with all this other crap. And this will keep it straight. This was like $15 on Amazon, I want to say. So, yeah, like as soon as they showed it, they're like, oh, you got to get these. It makes it way better. And as soon as I saw what it did, I'm like, I can see how that would do that. Seems simple. There are also knockoffs. If it's $15 for like the official ones that have these metal sleeves in them, right? The like Chinese knockoff that are orange are $10. And they don't have metal sleeves. So it's like I'm going, you know, like these guys seem to be the progenitor of this, at least the U.S. company, you know. So I'll support them. And originally it was like they have like a real old school website. And I'm like, if those are as popular as I think they will be, I bet they're on Amazon. They were. The last item here is something that is going to save my ass because I just don't do this enough. And this is an attachment for that oscillating tool. That's why we started there, or one of the reasons why. And what it does is you put it on there and it just cuts out the box. One second. So these are all tools that I haven't needed for networking before because I mostly deal with existing. Like you guys saw over there where there was already a phone jack in there, right? And that was cable there. I repinned it, or if you want to say like put a punch down on it, or in this case keystone. So I'm not often putting, and actually up until this point, I personally, outside of work purposes, have not needed to put new holes, right? That were not like super basic things that I could do with normal tools. Like I actually start to need to get specialized tools for this sort of stuff. Well, this is another thing where you could mark up yourself and use a like a saw, like a drywall saw, right, to cut it out yourself. Or when they put this up, they would probably mark these. I've actually seen new things that go in there, protect the wires, and then poke a hole out, and you just roto zip around them. Some people use routers, but that's what like a roto zip is for, or like one of the big reasons it's used for. In this case, though, because we're going into, remember, a lot of that technology and stuff that people are using, that is for existing or like new builds, not this, which is existing infrastructure. In this case, you pop this on your oscillating tool, right? There you go. From Qubit there, US again. There are a lot of knockoffs of this. If you look on Amazon, a lot of them have. If you've noticed, it's been a big thing for those oscillating cutters is having this curve to the blade. A lot of the cheap Chinese ones of these, where you can get two sizes, like the double wide box and the single wide box, for the price of this, have it all flat. And I have to imagine, there's no way that's as good. Also, one thing that Qubit has that nobody else I saw at least mention, now maybe this is just known shit in the industry, just because I don't do, like, I was not in, all I do is cable runs and yada yada. Nope. I mostly maintained existing infrastructure, had to run a cable every now and then, right? Different sort of industry, but I didn't realize that the boxes are different sizes. So I got this is what I have right there, you can even see it. That's low voltage. X, you need the 1000 SLV for low voltage. I was gonna buy the 1000 S right there, which is a standard box. That would be like for that outlet. All right, I actually needed the low voltage one, and they are slightly different. It's 2 1/4 by 3 5/8 versus 2 3/8 by 3 3/4. So if you would, now I'm guessing you could use this guy, right? But it's gonna be loosey-goosey, right? And as I told you, there are really cheap ones that are like just bent pieces of metal there. That's the top one, the 1000 SC. Yeah, so I went with this plastic guy. And the other brands, like especially like the Chinese ones, they'll give you like both blue sizes, and that's what's in the kit. And in this case, because I'm using the low voltage plastic there, where it doesn't have a back of the box, because realistically, with low voltage, you don't need a box around it, right? I specifically needed that low voltage one. This one happened to be on sale too. There was like a 15% off coupon or something like that. There you go, S1000 SLV. This is gonna make my life a heck of a lot easier. I just need to measure up to figure out how high these should be. I'm thinking there's a standard. Slap that on the oscillating cutter, right? And just it'll knock me out this exact square that I need to put those in. Then something else that people have made a mistake of, you want to install that before you drill the hole. Otherwise, this shaft here will be rubbing on the drywall and will carve like a little groove in the drywall around your hole. So you want to put that in first. Now I will have to avoid that little tabs on the one side, right? So I don't hit that when drilling. But it made sense when somebody's like, yeah, don't forget to put that in first, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to either rub the bottom lip if you're not bending it enough, and often people don't bend enough because they don't have the freaking tool, or you're going to be, or you're bending too much and you're hitting this like you're too much angle that way. You're going to hit the bottom of the hole, and if you don't have enough bend in the wire, you're going to hit the top of it and rub a groove if you're not paying attention. Way to prevent that is slap that plastic in first. That way it's not rubbing on, rough drywall. And you can kind of see here, you just slap it on your oscillating tool, chunk, hole goes out. I saw that a couple of years ago. I've seen these, but it was kind of like one of those things you keep in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, when I need to do that, I'm going to pick one of those up. And I was going to say, but I think it was I think they're like 50, not on sale, right? And this is the brand I would go with because they actually have the different sizes. They explain that all. They have the not flat cutters on there. There is another U.S. brand, or at least U.S. company, on Home Depot that also was on Amazon, but they didn't have all different sizes. I think they did have this sort of curved here, right? And they may have even had it connected in the corners. That's the one thing I was worried about this one with, is it's not a continuous square, if that makes sense. The very corners are not touching. I'm surprised they didn't weld those or something. But this is probably the one I would. They seem to know what's up. You know, made in the USA. There you go. Patents on it. Like I said, there are much cheaper Chinese or AliExpress versions of this. Maybe you can find one that has this exact design. But watch out, because they're probably going to give you the one for that or the one for these bigger style boxes. And if you're putting low voltage in like I am, that has a smaller box size, and it's going to be loosey-goosey in there. And basically, this is all I'm going to do. Like, I don't plan on doing new construction. When I help out Squares in his house, he already has walls in his house, it turns out, right? And we're going to be putting in that same sort of box in. So I'm just making my life way easier, because I could hand cut those, but now I can just line up whatever height I need once I figure out which stud it needs to go in, and just boom, right? So let me know your experience if you guys have run low voltage wires before. Like I said, most of my stuff was pulling through existing like stuff, or where I was doing it would have been like the basement where it's open, right? Where I don't have to worry about stuff like, like walls and shit, right? I'm not worried about making a place for it to go as well. Now there is one place, actually, when I say I bought 3 of those and I would need one, I actually will in my bedroom downstairs eventually. Currently those wires are literally sticking through through a hole that this would make, basically. Without a bracket, without the keystone's just on the other side. I just have it plugged in temporarily. Real ghetto. I need to get it moving. But yeah, so this will get used here at least one time more. And one of those things too that you kind of let your friends and family know you have, because how often, like, you could rent, I bet you could rent the flexible drill bit and the handle for it. Maybe it would come with those bumpers, maybe it wouldn't. Like, there are places that'll rent you a bunch of these tools. I don't know if they'd rent you this, that's highly specialized, but maybe if it's a tool they carry. These are becoming more and more common, so they might. But a lot of this is like buy once, cry once. Also friends and family, when they decide to run some stuff. I know my dad might at some point, and then you got it, right? In the case of, I also went the 54 inch, rather than the 36 inch for the flexible drill bit. These are easier to flex, basically, and you can flex them more because they're longer. A lot of like on-site guys that need to carry their tools in often go with the 36 inch because it fits with their rods they use. Like, it's the same length. And that would like have to have its own spot, and they would just use a 36 inch with an extension rather than using the long boy. The long boy is what comes with a little handle. And you can get the little handle separately, like you can get Klein's handle separately, but I would have to order that in. It'd be different if I wasn't just trying to do this one project. Then you might be a little bit more particular about, if you're only having to fit one wire through, you could probably go with a smaller drill bit. If you know you have to do 2, well, you have to get a bigger one. Stuff like that. So questions, comments, throw them down below. Just thought you guys might be interested in how the networking is going. So far, all the wires are run except for, and/or re-terminated, except for the 4 that need to go up here. And I need to order the, in the basement where all the keystones come down from the old ones. I need to order a mount for that from True Cable. And I need more keystones because, for example, if there are 4 ports going here, you need 8 keystones, 1 for each end, right? I don't have 8 shielded keystones, which is, I'm running solid core shielded Cat 6A, some thick burly stuff compared to the rinky dink. It's either real thin, real cheap Cat 6A or Cat 5e. That's but it's already in the walls, right? It was right here for the phone, so I can just piggyback it. Worst case, that's like the printer or something, right? And then I need a bunch more for filling out all the rest of the stuff that, like, where we have the cables run, but I don't have the connectors. I should have done some better planning there. Yeah, I think there's another one over on this side of the room too, because this was like a bedroom, and for some reason, everywhere that they put multiple coax, and everywhere they put a coax, they put a phone jack. Fucking weird. Now, in the end, it's going to be useful because actually that's where I put the printer, so the printer will probably be there. I don't know why you need that many, like, so every room that has a coax has 2, right? And then they all have phone jacks. How many fucking phones do you need? Like wired. I actually asked them when we built this house to like, hey, could you not do, we will literally not be using a wired phone system. Do not put that in. I think, recalling back, I might even see him doing Cat 6. I'm like, hey, could you just terminate that for, Ethernet instead? He's like, no. Well, I guess I forgot about that after 15 plus years, right? And re-found out, and am taking advantage of it now. I wish I would have known, because I could have re-terminated these with keystones ages ago. Now it's a mess in the basement, because what they do with the phone lines is they terminate all, like each wire goes to the same, so they twist all the brown together, all the white brown together, all the blue together, all the, yeah, so I had to just snip all that out and put keystones. I've yet to test them all, but they should be fine. They should be fine. All right. Well, hopefully you'll see this video come, to full fruition. I'll probably do a follow-up, and at some point I gotta drop like $1,000 on a new network switch that can power all of this. Yeah, because I need to plug the repair PC in, and that will be the last 10 gig port, because I only got an 8-port 10 gig, and that doesn't even have all the 10 gig plugged into it. Like, all the devices aren't plugged in. I'm selectively doing only 1 to each area right now. Oof, that's going to be a pricey, but theoretically with that better switch, every port in the house will be covered. So I shouldn't ever, unless it dies, I shouldn't, or if anything, we would do like what I'm going to do by the home theater PC is we run a 10 gig line there, and we do another switch, like a 10 gig to 2.5 gig, right? Or these Cat 6 won't carry 10 gig. Well, it's Cat 6, not Cat 5e. I think even Cat 5e might, under like really good circumstances, pull 10 gig, but that should at least do 2.5. So you could at least do 2.5 gig to a switch, like, 2.5 gig backhaul to a 2.5 gig to 1 gig switch. And that would get us a bunch more ports in whatever area that would be. So I think we're going to be fine. Because most things are still, some stuff is starting to bleed into 2.5 gig. Like all my AP that has to go up in the corner, that one of these dedicated 4 lines will be going to it. It's going to go up in that corner because it's the farthest corner on the edge of the house. Because I want to have coverage outside the house. So like when you're mowing the lawn on your front porch, whatever, right? Yeah, and then so it's going to be, for these 4, it's going to be 1 to the desktop, right? 1 to the AP, right? 1 to GBPC and 1 to the work laptop. That's at least the thought. Up here at least, and then probably that corner of the printer over there, and that guy, I don't know. Well, it's there because it's already in the wall. What you gonna do, right? So I think these are some really really cool. I'm not gonna say like unique, but they're like industry and project slash whatever specific ones that you might not see every day. And I thought I'd show them off to you because these are the proper tools to do this job. And I could have tried to half-ass it, but that usually ends up being a more pain in the ass. And you can't just like this. I could right now go punch the hole in the wall, zip those in, start drilling holes, be done. It'd take a bit longer than that, but you know what I mean. Whereas if I was doing the hand sawing and then like measuring it out, you would put those backwards on the wall, trace them. You know, yeah. You basically need the flex bit unless you're using like an auger bit with a right angle drill, which can actually be more effective if you can get it in there. But I don't have the right angle drill. You know, in some cases also if you need a bigger hole, what you do is you use this guy, right, to drill down. And you know where it comes out, right? And you use the big auger bit with a normal drill and drill up. So, being that I'm just dropping single wires down and I'm just gonna do 4 holes, I don't expect any hiccups. So, keep an eye out for future videos on this if you guys are interested on like most of this, because the basement's been open, I've just been able to run, you know. But now we're finally having to go upstairs, and realistically I could do this in any room in the house, but now that I'm repurposing these old phone jacks that actually ended up having Cat 6, this office here is the only one that I really need greater than gigabit speeds in, right? So we're dropping, you know, 4 lines through, and this is going to be the furthest point we've gone to. I think we're going to have plenty of wire, but man, when you're pulling like 80 plus feet each time you do it, and like I did it like 4 times already down there, you're like, oh man, that'll, and then you look at the spool and it's still mostly there. So yeah. Oh, and if you're in the bedroom, like why there, if I'm going to move that computer back up here, well, that's where the repair PC goes. It needs 10 gig because it's actually set up as an unraid server with OS pass-through to the GPU and stuff like that. So you can still use it locally as a computer, but on the back end, it's operating as, you know, it's also operating as a unraid server. So I can do unraid utility things like pre-check drives, and if I just want to spin up something real quick, etc. Super useful because I don't like doing that on the main server, because the main server is very stable. Like I can like leave it alone for 18 months pretty much, and it's fine.
Who's that? Is that Peasy? It's Artie Boy. We all have to leave Artie Boy. All right.
Well, Kat says I have to go. See you later. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video.